Navy SEALs are one of the most elite forces in the U.S. military. They are highly trained to be highly effective. And
joining us this afternoon is Jeff Boss, a Navy SEAL who is now a leadership coach, writer, and speaker. Let's first start with your time as a Navy SEAL. How long were you a SEAL?
I was a SEAL for 13 years. 13 glorious years. Got out in June of 2013.
And it teaches you a lot of life lessons.
It teaches you a lot that people wouldn't think they immediately transfer over, but they certainly do. They translate over into physical, emotional, mental, spiritual capacities of focus, of just daily performance, human performance, adaptability, leadership, communication, and they all apply beautifully over to business.
You talk a lot about drive and focus. These are things that obviously got driven into you during your SEAL training. Tell us how we can help bring those things to our lives in our workplaces.
Drive and focus? Yeah, great question. What I would talk about with drive and focus would be to identify. Obviously, once you identify what that is, understand the why behind it. What's the motivation behind it, and identify the triggers that either motivate you or don't motivate you to really.
It's the polite way of saying it.
It is. Yeah. So once you identify those triggers, then you can identify ways to get around them, right? So you can. That's the adaptability component of leadership, which is what I focus on.
What are people doing wrong? I mean, in a nutshell, I don't know. Are people on the wrong direction, or what's the one key point that you would say to get them on track?
My first thought of that is self-talk. It's self-talk. It's what you say to yourself and what you don't say to yourself, right? Any sort of negative thought that comes into your mind, you just want to immediately push it out. And there's no secret to doing that. You just force yourself to push it out. And the secret, I remember the SEAL instructors, when we were going through BUDS, they told us the secrets to getting through BUDS was to was to know that you're going to get through BUDS. BUDS is SEAL training.
That's the 100 hours in the water and
right.
All of the insane training you guys have to get through.
Yes, it was. And the secret is just to know that you get through it, and so you push out any sort of negative thoughts that tell you otherwise.
Last couple seconds here. Are people just not innately prepared to survive and adapt? You hear a lot of people, they don't like new things. They don't want to change. But you've got to be able to adapt to new things as they come your way.
You do. I mean, if they didn't, then they wouldn't essentially be here today. So it takes a willingness to learn, and it takes a willingness to unlearn, but also the skill to do so. So there are a lot of performance aspects that cover change, but whether or not people are innately adept at learning, it certainly depends on the individual and again their motivation in doing so. So.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.